Pink and black for the Warwick Farm preview for Wednesday the 17th of May. Gord, you've managed to trawl through this program, which meant that we're in the night time because it's rather deep.
Yeah, I had a quick look and rang you and said I'm going to be running late because there's lots of chances in lots of races. So
yeah, look, it's a very, very honest midweek card. Obviously 2 weeks ago we raced at Warwick Farm, so there's a good strong feed from that meeting. And we're racing on a 3 metre rail tomorrow. The track is currently a good 3, which means it's fast. So 3 metre rail, I'd say it won't be as hard to win from the inside as it was 2 weeks ago. Not saying that you necessarily want to be there, but you will be able to do it. Kick off with a 2-year-old over 1,400 metres, and $4.60 is our favourite Sambro, $5 Icon of Dubai, $5 Padraig, $7 Barbecue, $9 Kookaburra, out to $15 Bazina, $17 Korma, and that will do you 4 horses under 20 to 1 in that race. Now, the in-runs say that Kookaburra, who led at Randwick and retired, does lose the blinkers that he carried on that occasion, but should be well forward. His stablemate Sambro perhaps pokes up underneath him to actually lead him. Barbecue should pretty much race in a similar position to his debut win 2 weeks ago. Icon of Dubai on speed, and then General Moo and Korma. The lead-up race where Barbecue beat Sambro, Bazina was in that race and the roughie Nothing Too Hard. What do you make of that race, Gord?
Well, I was going to be against that race, and then I did the form and I couldn't find anything else. So
you wanted to be against that race. Why?
Well, just like a bit of a bunch finish. The horse that won, Barbecue, I had a good result on. Seemed like it got PR. Sambro seemed like a horse that might have been sort of overrated. So there was a question mark about the form in the race, I thought.
Yeah, the time wasn't very fast either. There were slow figures.
And I have found Barbecue on top from Sambro. So there you go.
Look, it's not stupid because it's obviously Warwick Farm form. The 1,300 metre race a fortnight ago feeds into this 1,400 metre race. Sambro was 11 to 13 on that occasion, which was a bit against him, and Barbecue was obviously making his debut. The alternative form is Icon of Dubai, who went to Hawkesbury, which I know it says 125,000 and whatever, but it was a bit of a shitty affair. And there's a line there between Sambro and Icon of Dubai, which says they're not that far apart anyway, and Sambro has an edge in that sense.
Yep. Well, what about the Kookaburra race then?
Yeah, because look, he was pretty plain on Anzac Day. There was nothing to like about it, but previously in 2 very wet runs at Warwick Farm, he'd raced hard up on the speed, boxed on well, back to Warwick Farm with those blinkers off, and Keranon is a horse of interest.
And what about the one, Padraig? I watched the trial down at
Cranbourne.
Down at Cranbourne, and I didn't see a lot in it, to be honest. So,
right.
I mean, obviously, when you're running around in what a near-on $1 million race in
yeah, but so it's a sales race. It's like it's their version of the Magic Millions, except it's for the Karaka sales. And you've got to remember that New Zealand 2-year-olds are no good.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, where do we go here? That was my question. So I had question marks about nearly every runner. I think I found, so I'm going to say that Barbecue can improve off that first up run. So I've got that on top. I'm going to take Kookaburra out of the same form line, although I was originally thinking it wasn't the right form line. And then one that maybe could improve at long odds is number 11, Farsight. I don't know why I think that. I think maybe by the time I was getting to the bottom of the list, I was just desperate to try and find something. But
I know you're saying. Okay, look, I get this sensation often, where you go down the list and you go, well, I haven't got to the winner yet. I'm waiting to get to the winner.
That's exactly what it was.
And because you recognise the deficiencies in the form. The lead-up race a fortnight ago, Barbecue beats Sambro. Sambro starts shorter than Barbecue. Therefore, which way do we go? They sort of cancel each other out. So it's one of those situations where, if anything, I would just oppose Hawkesbury and the fact that Christian Reith remains on this Snowden runner. As much as I respect Snowden's, I just don't understand the Reith connection with Icon of Dubai. And I'll give the Warwick Farm form a nod. With Kookaburra and Bazina, Bazina comes out of the same race, and look, just have to accept the number one as the Nord on the roulette wheel.
Yep.
That's race one. Race two, same distance, this time for 3-year-olds maidens. $3.50 Queen of Heights, $3.60 the favourite from her race, Love Letter. $7.50 Emperor's Way, $10 Isle of Capri, $13 Aurora Rose. Now, Queen of Heights obviously tracked the leader there a fortnight ago. I had Emperor's Way not too far away. Aurora Rose perhaps gets closer to the speed than she did first up. And it wouldn't surprise me if Penny Star, who's the other Gaybot runner, T. Clark to ride, hampered at the start the other day on debut at Newcastle, gets well forward from her wide gate. But not a lot of speed on in this race. Duchess Padrille in behind the speed, and Love Letter ridden very quietly the other day. I'd suggest that H. Bowman, he's more of a one out, one back man, and it's not impossible that he could sort of.
He could, because it did jump. Yeah, it jumps. Like it said, it's not. It wasn't back there because it's got absolutely no early pace. Me, I had Love Letter on top. With the question mark or some sort of reservations as when, because I was actually given the Queen of Heights run more value than Love Letter's run, but I just got to feel like, massive on this. I think it was between about the 4 and the 200 metre mark when Love Letter was making its move. It did look stylish, and I'm hoping that third up now, up to the 1400 metres, it'll actually be able to maintain that dash for a little bit longer, and if it does, it'll win this race. The other one that could really improve a lot is number 1, Emperor's Way. I only had an 800 metre trial, then first up over 1400 metres. That's definitely not suitable at all. Comes from the right stable. You got Ty on board now.
Who is a frigging gun at the moment. I know he got lost on Saturday, but his form over the last 6 months has been far superior to the form that he showed previously. He's on song.
Yeah. That's one that can improve at odds, which I'll have something on. And the one who I gave more credit to in the race, the Love Letter race last start, was Queen of Heights, and I've sort of gone against it. So,
well, I thought, he rode her very cleverly. He just tucked in behind that heavily backed Wendy Roach horse. Yeah. So she had a perfect run. Love Letter does go B. McDougall to H. Bowman. She's third up. She's now got close to the finish. It's sort of hard to, obviously it's the lead up, but I think you have to favour Love Letter over.
That's such a big factor. McDougall to Bowman on a horse that I thought had a little bit of ability. This is D-Day for it.
Certainly. The bottom one was heavily backed on Anzac Day, and Gord, you weren't at the races on that day, but she was resuming at 1400 metres, and it must have been all about the trials, but she was heavily backed in what is a decent reference for this. I had to give her some claims. Isle of Capri is a horse that's had 3 runs out wide, but has carried no names for Waller, and gets Kieran on board here third up, and there was just a lot of freaking around there in that last race. I don't know if you watched it, Gord, but gee, it was punishing to watch how much freaking around there was. Emperor's Way you've canvassed, and as I said, Penny Star is a horse that is flying under the radar. The Gaybots are just so potent at the moment.
They're so strong, aren't they?
Well, they don't have many runners, but you just got to be on your guard all the time. So look, I think there's something to this race, and I do concur. Number 2 gets her chance tomorrow. Race 3, we're up to the mile, 3-year-olds, and $5.50 Vaucluse Bay, $5.50 Pelorus Jack, $8 Lord Macau, the track specialist, $9 Tycoon Ma, $9 Yeah Bravo, $12 Travancore, and $13 Show 'em, 16 Mr. Ticket, 16 Walk the Street, 17 Jolie's Pearl. It looks keen because you've got Lord Macau there in 1 who would want the lead, but you've also got Walk the Streets well up in distance. Vaucluse Bay will settle handy. Yeah, Bravo is a leader, backing up from last week. Mr. Tickets goes forward from his wide gate. Tycoon Ma pressed forward in the Hawkesbury Guineas, and Mate Story won his only race racing on the speed. So I think it's keen at the mile. Did you have, well, at first blush, did anything jump at you?
Yeah, it did. I like the back in distance for Show'em and Travancore. And then when I saw the odds, I thought, well, they're going to be bets for me. And, you know, they come out of, well, particularly Show'em comes out of some pretty solid form races. I know it's been up for a long time, but...
Oh, it's that hot trainer.
But I mean, back 300 metres seems right to me. So giving that a chance at odds. Travancore, just forgetting about the last start. Obviously,
Is it as simple as that? It's a G Pollitt forgive?
Yeah, it's a G Pollitt forgive, that one, because there was official excuses as well. So it going off the style of its win over 1600 metres at
Karen
Canberra,
on board.
and Mitcham Bell to Karen McAvoy, massive jockey change. I think that'll really run better tomorrow and is at good odds and will definitely be a bet for me. And number 3, Pelorus Jack has done nothing wrong, so I don't know whether I'm just going to hedge with Pelorus Jack or back it to make a profit, but I won't be losing if it gets up. The one I was against was Vaucluse Bay, who, although really stylish last start, hasn't proved itself against any decent horses
Oh,
yet.
but Lou, one out, one back, Gordo in the perfect spot.
Well, if H. Bowman's one out, one back, be careful. He's deadly.
Yeah,
so-
the interesting aspect, there were a number of interesting aspects about this race, but we've got Lord Macau, who we found at Warwick Farm, well, it's 2 months ago now, and he's been on tour ever since.
Yeah, it's just...
He had a shocking run in the Wagga Guineas, but the trouble is that he's totally reduced his competitiveness by banging around elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Lord Kingsley made the best finish in that race, which was an $80,000 race, but he's just, well, what you see with Lord Kingsley is what you get. And Mr. Tickets, well, the M. Newnham stable that everybody loves. And
Me viewing this later on tonight.
Really?
Not even joking. Not even joking.
We're running late,
I'll
yeah.
be in bed and she'll be like, what are you doing? I'll be watching you blokes.
Okay.
So I'll see you a bit later tonight.
Okay. What's your name?
Michael.
Michael, come and say hello.
yeah,
Is
so-
Mike?
Later on, got it live. Thanks, boys.
There you go.
Mr. Tickets from that all-conquering Mark Newnham stable that is you know, is a contender for the Godolphin crown. He was working hard the other day. He's third up. He's at home for the first time. He loses his blinkers. Ben Melham, serious rider.
He's one Melbourne guy that I have a massive amount of respect for.
Pelorus Jack Gord, I have to say 1300 to 1600 does not excite me.
It's just done nothing wrong.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with that. It's just like the...
I'm with you, that's why, because it's one that is normally a find for me, isn't it? And I went looking for a couple of angles outside the market, so yeah, I agree with you there.
Look, it just looks one of those races where sort of anything goes. I am in the Vaucluse Bay camp, but I understand your opposition to it. That's race 3.
Oh, sorry, one question. What are we making of Mate Story? You know, it's got that terrible SB, but it's a weird stable, that one, isn't it?
It's a very strange stable. Look, if it was 2400, I'd be interested.
Okay, yeah.
You know, they have horses with talent, but you know, debut at 1500 is now at 1600. It just seems like the sort of horse that will give you a good sight over a longer distance.
Yep.
Race 4, we're down to the short course here. It's 1,000 metres and it's a dense market. $4.60 Want to Get a Watt, won a highway at Hawkesbury. $4.50 Viceroy, won a race at Wagga. $4.60 Weissman from Gosford. $5 Difficult to Get from Wyong. And then we're $13 Don't Tease Me, $14 I'm Usain, $17 Moshki and Isle Texture. And there are a number that would like to be in the van here, notably Salerno, Don't Tease Me, Want to Get a Watt, Difficult to Get and Isle Texture. Music Magnate will hold her position with the inside draw. Viceman won't be too far away and Moshki has some speed. It's keen, Gord.
It was a sort of a confusing race too, because you know, how am I supposed to take Wagga form into Sydney Metropolitan? I don't know.
Oh yeah, but he just did
Well,
win the race in a
stylish.
stride, didn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
His first run for Luke Pepper, he's been trained by Tony McAvoy for a long time and been bumbling around at distances that may have been unsuitable.
Well, yeah. So it was stylish, and we got Ty Anglin on board.
Race run to suit.
There's something sort of there for it, and then there's an 8 difficult to get, which only got beaten a short margin by Once More a Lady, which, you know, is all.
Sorry, it beat Once More a
Sorry,
Lady,
beat
yeah.
Once More a Lady by a small margin, but then the rest of it stuff is quite provincial and country.
Well, I
isn't
thought
it?
Karen was very clever on that occasion. You know, he sort of foxed them. He's going, oh, you know, I'm just going to sit here. No, I'm going to go to the lead.
Say that, yeah.
He managed to get away with it, in my opinion.
The one I had on top was number 6, Vice Man. What am I going to say about it? You know, what's that horse? Road for whatever. It's off my printing. Road
for Sundown.
I just think it got all favours up front, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know, this thing, when it was coming around the turn, you'll notice some of them times they don't handle those tight turning tracks like your Wyong into Gosford. Looks like it got unbalanced to me, then rebalanced, and was, you know, reasonably nice late. It's also a horse that I think probably has more ability than the rest
What are
of
you
this.
saying about Joe Pride?
You will see.
I think aren't you anti-Joe Pride at the moment?
I am anti-Joe Pride, but I mean, this is the quandary I had with this whole program, that, you know what I mean, there was a question mark about.
Right, you wanted to see 3 morals and then you would have turned up here at 4 o'clock.
I did have to do training before I got here as well, see, so there was some other excuses.
Mitigating circumstances.
Yeah, so I've got it on top, but I've got the Joseph Pride question mark, but I thought that was a better run than would seem last start, and I think it'll actually end up jumping the favourite.
I obviously agree. Want to get a what? Any analysis there?
Well, doesn't that come out of the same... Oh, no. I got nothing. No, didn't even look at it. There you go.
T-Berry, but went to the 1100 of the highway, controlled, an unfit horse raced outside, I thought was highly flattered.
No. Did I look at the Wagga times over the 1,000 metres, and who was I comparing
compared with
it
Viceroy?
to? Was it on the same day?
No,
No,
they
it
were
wasn't on the
weeks
same
apart.
day. Okay.
I think the Wagga times were quite slow, but strong, but he was beaten by Nickoff. Anyway,
I'm not. Well, I'm against it. I'm just looking at it now. I don't like the horses it's running around. So.
Yeah, look, I'm strongly in the Viceman camp, and that will round us out for the end of part 1. We'll be back with the last 3 races from Warwick Farm in part 2.